So, how were you interested in the service, or how did you want to get into it?
Growing up, I always wanted to be in the military. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. So
Hmm.
it's pretty much why I joined. I always played when I was a kid. I'd always play like soldier or something.
Hmm.
So I was always into it.
Okay, and what branch are you in?
Marines?
Nice. What exactly did you do?
Well, technically I was a field radio operator, but I didn't do anything related to that.
Okay.
I mainly provided security for patrols and incoming patrols.
Okay. And then what, like, major operations were you involved in?
Like Operation Enduring Freedom.
Yep.
I deployed over to Afghanistan 2013 for about a year. Over there, we conducted many different smaller operations. Uh, Basically, just kind of maintain the area since it was dying down, and kind of swept the area, made sure everything was good, so
Mhm.
then we could pack up and go home.
Did you have any, like, buddies in the service or friends you're still close to or anything like that?
Let's see, going in, I went in with a friend.
Hmm.
He ended up chopping off, well, not chopping off completely, but cut his fingers. So I had to wait for him. But as I was in, through boot camp and through the time in the service, I mean, oh my, so many friends were made and so many just brothers.
And is there, like, a different bond between, like, regular, like, privates? Like, what's the bond between, like, privates and officers, and how is that, like, connected and
Between the
interactive?
ranks, usually like your privates and lance corporals are buddy buddy with each other, and those are the ones who are the closest. As you get higher up in the ranks, it's kind of a different kind of bond. It really depends on who your officers are. Usually it's strictly professional, but in my unit, I mean, my officers were the coolest people ever because they were really good officers. They took
Mm.
care of us. They made sure we had everything we needed. So it all depends basically on who you get as an officer. There's the officers that are strictly professional, and then there's the officers who know when to be your friend.
Mm. Was there any, like, fun activities that you got to do while you were there, or anything that stands out?
There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, we a lot of times for when summer was coming, we throw on a beach bash where we all go down to the beach and do a really long run and go in the ocean and do some random exercises. And then we sit there for about an hour and talk about the upcoming summer and what to do, what not to do. But then afterwards, we'd have a big like barbecue or have a beach games and grill hot dogs and burgers, and everyone would come. Another one was when we got back from Afghanistan. We did like a little party for everybody, making it home safe.
Mm.
We went out into the field for one night, and they just brought tons of kegs, and we just all got trashed. And that was probably the best thing ever.
Yeah. What was your experience like? Did you ever work with any special forces or anything like that?
Well, I was attached to a line company, which was infantry.
Mm.
So when we went out there, I mean, we had special forces in our unit or like in our company.
Mm.
So I mean, technically we had our snipers, we had our recon, and that was about it for special forces. But then you could get attached to them. I got attached to a recon company once. That was pretty awesome. Got to use a lot of cool stuff.
Mm. What cool stuff did you get to use?
Well, I actually got to use the infrared,
Mm.
like scopes, the night vision, where in a regular unit you don't really get to use that. You get to see it, but you don't get to actually use it. I shot a couple 50 cows. We got to drive around these really awesome, like dune buggies.
Mm.
They had a machine gun mounted on the back, and then they had one driver and a passenger. That was pretty cool.
What was your least favorite part of boot camp?
Least favorite part of boot camp. I would say getting thrown around in the sand. Uh, Basically, you do something wrong, or if they just don't like you, they put you in a sand pit and you're like doing push-ups and rolling around, and they're kicking sand in your face and just making you eat dirt.
Okay. While you were over there and as you were going through operations, how did you keep in touch with home?
Nowadays, mainly Facebook. I did send a few letters. Receiving care packages was probably the greatest thing ever. I mean, just knowing you have something coming for you just made you look forward to the next day.
What was in your favorite care package?
My favorite care package, I would say beef jerky.
Awesome.
Because out there I worked nights, so 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we didn't really get much food, so because the chow halls or anywhere that provided food was closed, so getting beef jerky was always the greatest thing.
So did you just go with like MREs instead of like chow halls, or how did that work?
Well, what they would do is at 7 o'clock they would bring in like the dinner for the day shift guys, and whatever was left is what we got. And then throughout the night you just snacked on crackers or whatever, and then you got breakfast.
Were you ever like riding in choppers into anything, or fast roping down, or anything like that?
I've never went in choppers. Did a little training exercises for choppers. That was about it. Mainly we used, we don't use Humvees anymore. We use Mat V's and just those bigger trucks like 7 tons armadillos. And just some of the smaller tactical vehicles was mainly what we use out there.
Did your unit have any like symbols to identify them, or like logos or icons?
Grim Reaper. If you want to take a look, you can. It's on that one right there.
Right there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you guys like have that on like wristbands and like your helmets or anything like that, or?
It was more of a personal thing. If you wanted patches, you could get patches made, put them on your flag. If you wanted, like this, I got that myself. They never really gave you like stickers or patches or anything, but just like our company office had the logo on it.
Were you ever wounded in the field, or?
No, not technically.
Okay. And did you have any buddies that were wounded in the field, or?
I had lots. I had a couple that were double amputees. A couple of guys just got shot. Mainly legs is what you get.
From IEDs, or?
Mainly IEDs, or just slip down some slippery building collapses because they're like all made out of mud, like crappy villages. But yeah, so mainly twist ankles, wounded legs. A couple of them would have burns. A couple of them would just get like, what am I trying to think of? Concussions from the vehicles. They roll over. Everyone gets messed up. There's a couple of broken jaws because everything goes flying inside the vehicle.
Did you ever have to like go and search out a specific target, or were you just mostly doing patrols, or?
Well, most time we, kind of specific target would be anyone with a gun, mainly. We'd sweep the villages and go through there, and we'd be looking for, like enemy, just anyone not regular civilians.
And while you were there, did you go into like the bigger cities, or were you mostly patrolling smaller villages, or?
Mainly the smaller villages, some of the mountains. I was down south usually, so we didn't really go up north where the bigger towns are.
Okay. And while you were over there, like what gear did you use on a daily basis, like backpacks, that type of stuff?
Daily basis, alright, all your normal boots and your frog gear, which is like a lighter cami, as we call it. It's where the arms are just camouflaged. The torso area is fire resistant. It's just tan. It's easier to breathe in. Makes a lot of difference. Then we had our flags on with their sappy plates in. You have your flak, or not your flak, your IFAC. You have your mag pouches, grenade pouches that you don't even